welcome to Arts Talk Online. I am Bill Roberts.
I'm Jennifer Boudreau.
We're at the Global Visions Film Fest at the Garno.
It's beautiful. This theater reminds me of where I grew up in northern BC. We had one theater and it was exactly the same with the big curtains and the balcony seating, and I just feel so at home when I'm here.
It's a beautiful venue to be in. It just takes you back in time, and that's what I like about it. The other thing that's kind of bad, though, is right over there is popcorn.
The best popcorn in the city.
And we could smell it. And so now I have to sit here under the hot lights smelling this popcorn, actually seeing people over there eating the popcorn, and we're doing this.
I'm going to have so much popcorn.
Can I get up and go get some?
Yeah, please. I'll finish this. You go get some popcorn.
You want to have the whole show to yourself anyway.
Yeah, that's also true.
So tonight we're going to interview the executive director on the show,
Yes.
Beryl Backus, and I hope that's how I pronounced her. And she's nodding, so I pronounced her name. Finally, I got a name right on the show because I'm always struggling with names.
Good for you.
I'm happy. Thank you. I should get a standing ovation. The crew's smiling. Oh, good. They're clapping too. Thanks. So we're going to interview Beryl, and you're going to interview.
I'm interviewing the producer of the film that we're watching today. His name is Kirk Palayan. Maybe?
Is that close, Beryl?
Sort
She's
of?
saying it was kind of sort of close.
I'll
Good.
have him correct me when he comes on.
Oh, I'm sure he'll correct you. Yeah.
And I'm really looking forward to it. I've got a lot of interesting questions to ask him. And the film is actually one of those really moving ones too. So do you want to tell a little bit about the film or save that for his interview?
Well, maybe I'll just talk about it really quick.
Okay.
This is a documentary film festival.
Yes.
So they bring in documentaries from all over the world. And this one is based in India and is about the kids and the generation of children that were affected by the Union Carbide gas disaster in 1984.
Yeah.
So sounds like a pretty touching documentary. Anyway, we're going to be right back after this with Beryl. Welcome back to Arts Talk Online. I am Bill Roberts, and sitting with me is the Executive Director of Global Visions Film Festival, Beryl Backus. How are you, Beryl?
Good, how are you?
I am doing really well. So I want to find out, how does someone get into wanting to be an Executive Director of a documentary film festival? I think you started in September of last year, right?
Yes, well I was actually sitting on the board of directors for the Global Visions Film Festival, and at that time we were going through a bit of a change throughout the year, and we needed an interim executive director. There was some restructuring that had to happen, so I stepped in as interim executive director, and in September I became the real executive
So
director.
you did such a fantastic job that the board said, you're going to be our
I hope so.
full-time executive director.
I hope so.
But I was talking to you a little bit before we did the interview, and what I found was interesting is actually you weren't so much involved in film, but you were involved in fashion in Toronto, right?
Yes, I had a clothing line out of Toronto and Montreal for a number of years, yeah.
So you were a fashion designer.
Yes, yes.
So then again, let's flip back now to the Global Visions Film Festival. What got you so interested to even want to be on the board and involved with the festival?
Well, I had come back to Alberta about 3 years ago, and I came to the Global Visions Film Festival for the first time, so 2 Novembers ago, and I walked out of the theater with watching these movies, and I was so blown away with these documentaries, the stories that they were telling from around the world, the stories that people are dealing with around the world, and I couldn't believe that more people would not be able to see these documentaries. And I wanted to become involved with the festival, so that's why I ended up joining the board of directors.
That's great. So the festival opened up on Thursday, this past Thursday.
Yes.
So how many films do you have over the few days that it runs?
We have 27 films. That's from Edmonton, Canada, and internationally. Yes, and our mandate has always been to show from around the world, of course. We did a little bit more. We have a special section called Local Visions now, where we highlight our local Edmonton filmmakers, just to give them a little bit, celebrate them, and it's been great. Yeah.
Excellent. So with the local filmmakers, with Local Visions, so they would submit, is it any length? Is it a short film?
It's any length basically, and it goes to our programming committee, and then from there we start making our selections and decide what's going to get in and what's not.
So overall in the festival, selection-wise, because it's Canada and international, how many films actually get submitted?
Well, this year was a little bit different because we did not take submissions. That will change again. We are opening up our submission process after this festival ends.
Okay.
So it was a little bit easier to handle this year, but you know, we can get anywhere from 200 up until.
Wow.
It just depends, you know, what's happening in the world at the time and who's making films.
Well, and looking at even just the subject matter of the film that we're going to be actually going to see as soon as we're done here tonight. You know, second generation children affected by the Union Carbide gas disaster. You know, these are documentaries that need to be made and stories that need to be told, and this is giving you that venue, or those
Absolutely.
filmmakers that venue to
Yes.
do that.
Absolutely. And that's the great thing with our festival is besides the films, we bring in film sponsors. Winifred Stewart is actually sponsoring Bopali this evening, and they'll be conducting a panel afterwards to discuss the issues, and it'll be open up to the public so they can ask questions as well too, and just speak their voice on the issue.
How's attendance been?
Oh, it's been fantastic. Our opening night was really great, and we're happy. We're happy. We just, you know, we hope the word gets out to people, and you know, if they're thinking about getting involved with or have a question about a certain issue in the world, our festival is a place to come in and find out about it, because we have great community partners that set up booths in the lobby that you can go and speak to about the issues. You can come and watch the film, get a little bit of education on what's going on, and find your next path from there.
That's excellent. And now on the festival itself, on the organizational side, you use a lot of volunteers to help run the festival?
Yeah, we have some amazing volunteers. We have some volunteers that have been with us for 8-9 years. They come back every year. And absolutely, during the festival, we do rely heavily on volunteers, absolutely.
So for next year, for an example, if somebody wanted to become a volunteer, say they came and saw one of the films just like you did, how would they contact you? How do they get a hold of you?
They can go to our website at globalvisionsfestival.com,
Okay.
and we have our volunteer coordinator, Kristen, who is amazing, and she will get in touch with you, absolutely.
That's great. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing the film at 7. And again, thank you so much for having Arts
Thank
Talk
you for
come out
having us.
and to the Global Visions Film Festival.
Thank you.
Right, ladies and gentlemen, that's Beryl Backus, the ED of the Global Visions Film Festival. We'll be right back after this. Welcome back to Arts Talk Online. Great interview with Beryl.
She's so lovely.
And it's, you know, she's had to do a lot of work, you know, to bring this film festival together, and she's done a fantastic job with all the documentaries she's had here. It opened on Thursday night. That was the
Yeah.
opening night, so this past Thursday. And yeah, it's a great festival.
Tonight and then tomorrow, I think, are the last 2 movies, and then it's over. That's sad.
It is, but I'm sure they'll be back next year.
Yeah. Do you have any events for
I do.
us?
I want to talk about actually, coming up April 1st at the Shaw Conference Center is the Edmonton Toy and Comic Show. And we will actually be there shooting a segment, probably a few segments throughout that day, and hopefully some interviews. Lee Conrad, who normally does our film reviews, we're actually making him now one of our segment producers. So Lee's going to be looking to go out to different events that are happening and cover those for us, just as he did in our last show when we got Michael Bain on the show.
Yeah, he was
And-
so good at being on the ground and interviewing people that we decided we were going to make it his full-time position.
And he's all excited.
I'm sure.
He's looking forward to it. So at the Edmonton Toy and Comic Show, which is April 1st, takes place at the Shaw Conference Center from 10 a.m. till 5 p.m. A huge show. Lots of toys and comics and all that stuff will be there, but there's going to be some really good guests that we want to talk to.
For all you Trekkies out there, John Delancey, who played Q, will be there. I'm a little bit excited. I'm a closet Trekkie thanks to my dad.
Julie Benz will be there,
Yes.
who's been in a lot of films, Saw 5,
Buffy the Vampire
Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Wicked.
So we want to make sure that we will be talking to them. Now, do you have
Really
anything?
quick, yeah, I have one event, just a reminder that the Edmonton Filmmakers Group is meeting on March 13th at the Chapters Starbucks on White Ave at 7 p.m. So get there for some networking and some filmmaking.
That would be great. So coming up right after this, you're going to talk to Kirk.
Yes, I am.
We'll be right back.
Hi, welcome back to Arts Talk Online. I'm Jennifer Boudreau, and I'm sitting with Kirk Palayan, the producer of our show. I'm not even sure how to pronounce that. How do you pronounce your show's name? I'm sorry.
Bhopali.
Bhopali. That's close, maybe, to what I tried to spit out earlier. So before we get into talking about the show, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and getting into filmmaking?
Yeah, well, I'm a public school teacher with the LA Unified School District, and I teach computer animation, and film has been like a passionate hobby for that time. And you know, I've been doing short films with the director of the film, Max Carlson, for the last decade, and Bhopali is our first documentary.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Now, this story seems really quite personal. How did you come into contact with the story, or what moved you to make this particular film?
You know, I've had a connection with environmental issues for a long period of my time as a teacher, and so I've had my students do exploration within environmental issues for many years, and so when the director, Max, brought up the idea of going to Bhopal to shoot this, at the time was just this story of these people who live in Bhopal who've been struggling with chemical poisons in their environment for the last 25 years. For me, it was a natural thing because I find that environmental issues are really have an important place in my heart. So I was really excited to do it.
Wonderful. It sounds like there was quite a journey that happened to make this film. Can you take us through that a little bit?
Yeah, the journey was one of just deciding on what it is we needed to do to accomplish our goal, and the goal was to tell the story of the people of Bhopal. And so, you know, to start out with being able to get permission to, you know, that was a beginning aspect of this, to get this permission through the Sambhavna Clinic that was run by this amazing individual there named Satyu Satynath. And he was running the clinic. He allowed us to come, and then he introduced us to this amazing human being. His name is Sanjay Verma, who was our translator and our guide in Bhopal. And I think without these two components, I don't know that we would have been successful. But then, of course, to then be introduced to these beautiful people in Bhopal, and then to see the perseverance and the fight that they have, motivated us. We said, okay, we're so glad to be here. Let's go ahead and capture as many of their stories as possible. And so the journey really started with being able to get permission, and then going out there and just doing it, you know, and not allowing for any sort of deterrence to hold us back. And that's what, you know, I think we got through initially when we were shooting the film.
Wow. So from beginning to end, how long did it take?
We started shooting in January of 2009, and the first cut of the edit of the film, because the translation, we had about 100 some hours of film, which we had to translate in order for us to edit it. So it really took us a year and a half total. And Max Carlson, director, returned for a second time to capture the 25th anniversary events that we're taking on. That are going on in Bhopal. So it was just really exciting to be able to see progress that was being made. Even between the time that we went, January 2009, and then again, November 2009, there was progress. And it was progress because people, volunteers, people around the world were able to find out about the information and were able to donate. And that in itself made a world of difference. And you know, I think it's still making a difference for them.
Awesome. So is any of that new footage included in the...
Yes, it is. Yes.
Great.
Yeah.
So what are your goals now for this film?
You know, it's been so well received. We've been so lucky. You know, it started out in Slam Dance in January of 2011. I mean, just to be entered, we're so excited. And then to have had the opportunity of winning both the audience and the grand jury prize was just, you know, it's making me sweat thinking about it. And then afterwards, we were able to go to the Dallas International Film Festival, the Milwaukee Film Festival. I mean, there have been some really great film festivals that we've been able to go to, and then to come here to this wonderful festival, to, you know, the Global Visions Festival, because I wanted to be able, of course, the goal has always been to try to proliferate the information out to as many people as possible. So whenever you have a festival, that's like the only way an independent filmmaker is able to get the information out. You know, other than YouTube, you know, there isn't much, and people need to be directed to go to this. It's just hard. So film festivals just make that all the more possible, and to completely new audience. Very happy to be here, truly.
Wonderful. Well, congratulations on
Thank
all
you.
your success so far.
Thank you so much. Thanks.
So what's next for you, really quickly?
You know, right now the director is working on his own feature-length film idea, and he's working on that. He's working on the script currently. And for me, I have this really cool. Social justice has been such an important thing in the last 2.5 years that has come up out of this project. So I really want to develop maybe more projects that have to do with social justice of all species. So, you know, I'm looking at something that maybe has to do in the mammal biosphere, but below the waters of the sea.
Oh,
So I'm working on that right now. Yeah.
where do you think that's going to be filmed? On our coast in BC, or
well,
going to go warmer waters?
BC is gorgeous. Right now, it's in the planning stages, so I'm just need to be able to write up the script for it.
Okay.
So, you know, we'll see.
We'll keep it hush hush. Awesome. Well, thanks so much, Kirk. Thanks for
Thanks.
everybody
Thank you.
who's watching, and
Yes.
I look forward to going in and taking a look at your film right
Thank
away.
you so much.
So we'll
Thanks.
throw back to myself and Bill.
इन दिसंबर 1984 वो रात हम नहीं भूल सकते इस यूनियन कार्बाइड से MI6 गैस लीकेज हुई और लोगों को मौत की नींद सुलाती हुई चली गई.
They're calling it the world's worst chemical disaster.
I saw horror. I saw human beings groaning, moaning, begging for help.
Indian Carbide Corporation knew that the methyl isocyanate plant they were building in Bhopal would be untested technology and that its safety was not known.
Union Carbide is now a wholly owned subsidiary of Dow Chemical.
All the samples that we collected from this site were heavily contaminated.
Yes, we will legally pursue Dow Chemicals in court and Union Carbide.
Union Carbide informs the American courts that New York law can't apply, but at the same time, they say Indian law doesn't apply. So in effect, they're arguing that they're above the law.
There are more than 100,000 people still chronically ill.
हम गरीब आदमी हैं, हमारे पास पैसा नहीं है, तो हमारी सुनवाई बिल्कुल नहीं होगी, चाहे आपका बच्चा खत्म हो जाए.
There's additionally 30,000 people who have been forced to drink contaminated water for the last 15, 16 years.
If there is God somewhere, then where is God? Where was the God at the time of the disaster? Where was the God when my family members died?
It's a corporation. They're legally bound to do nothing but try to make profit.
अगले 25 साल तक अगर जरूरत पड़े तो लड़ने के लिए फिर
अब जिस लायक हम हैं, वो तो करेंगे ही.
Welcome back to Arts Talk Online. I'm Jennifer Boudreau.
I'm Bill Roberts.
And we just finished with Kirk. That was wonderful. We're going to finish up here, and then I think we're going to get the opportunity to go and watch his film now. So after hearing all about it, I'm excited to go in and take a look at it.
I'm looking forward to seeing it, for sure. It sounds like it's going to be a really, really good documentary.
I'm going to have to get a bunch of Kleenexes because there's a good chance I'm going to cry the whole way through and ruin Ashley's beautiful makeup job.
Oh, no, that's not good.
Yeah.
Something about, you wanted to mention about a film, not a film festival, but a 48-hour film competition coming up.
Just a heads up for all you filmmakers out there, the Calgary 48-hour film race is coming up at the end of the March, starting March 30th.
At the end of the
End of the month, starting March 30th. I'm good at this speaking thing.
Yeah, something with the tongue, yeah.
It's got to get rid of the tongue ring, I guess. Anyway, so start gearing up and preparing for that. I think you have to get your submissions in right away. Submit a team for that, and then I don't think you'll beat our team, but you're welcome to try. Anybody?
There you go. And a couple things too, again, we'll do another reminder. We're looking at changing the format slightly of the show.
Yes.
So either 2 15-minute segments or 3 10-minute segments. And I've gotten a little bit of feedback after the last show, and that was that we should look at 3 10-minute segments. So
Okay, great.
that's a little bit of the feedback I've gotten. But again, if you do want to send us and give us your feedback, constructive criticism, whatever you'd like,
Yeah.
do email us at info@artstalkonline.com. You can also go to the website, www.artstalkonline.com, and check out the there too.
We really appreciate your feedback. Thank you so much.
For sure. So we probably will be changing the format mid to late March. We'll start switching over into the new format, whichever we decide, but we will let you know obviously what that's going to be. We want to thank the Global Visions Film Festival for having us come out and shoot our show. We'd like to thank Burl Backus, the executive director, for having us out. Again, wonderful festival, so if you haven't or didn't get the opportunity to come out this year, come out next year. You'll see some great documentaries. I'm Bill Roberts.
Jennifer Boudreau.
We'll see you next week.